Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll explore string manipulation in Python. Strings are a central part of any programming language, and Python provides various tools and techniques to work with them efficiently. So let's get started. So as always, we're going to create a new file and we'll call this one string underscore manipulation.py. As we have done with the previous files, we'll give it a title, string manipulation. Okay, so first we're going to talk about string concatenation. So let's give ourselves a title for this so you can break it down in your own file. So concatenation is the process of combining two or more strings in Python. You can concatenate strings using the plus operator. Let's take a look at an example. So a good way to show this would be to put in a variable, first name, and we'll assign it a string value. Quotes, and put J. On a new line, we'll set up a new variable, second name, and we'll assign it another string value. Right. So now we want to hold a variable. We want a variable to hold a value that would potentially hold both of these string values. So we can do a new variable, full name, and this will assign a value here of first name plus double quotes, and we'll put a space here, plus second name. So let's make sure that this variable holds the correct value that we expect it to. Full name Great, so we've got full name, close the quotes, comma, full name, and we are going to right click and run our file. Great, so as we can see here, we have printed out the full name variable, which is assigned this value of first name here. It has the space here and the second name. So this will be string concatenation. So it's a very useful way to combine variables that hold string values and combine them together when needed. So let's move on to string repetition. Okay, so you can repeat a string multiple times using the times operator or the asterisk. So let's have a look at an example. So we have a variable here called word. We'll assign a string value of hello. Let's create a new variable called repeated word, and that's going to equal our word times 3. And we should go ahead and print that. Print. Let's make it a bit prettier. Repeated word. And we'll put our variable here. And let's just comment that out for now. And let's run it. And we can see here we've got repeated word, which we put in as a string. We've got the variable here repeated words, which is word times 3, and now we've got hello, hello, hello. So that is string repetition. Next we'll look at string indexing. So each character in a string has an index starting from 0. You can access individual characters in a string using their index with square brackets. Let's take a look at an example. So we create a variable here called text. Python. Now let's create a variable here called first letter. Now for the indexing, we're going to equal our text variable, and then we're going to put square brackets 0. And now let's print first letter, comma, and we'll equal our first letter variable here. Okay, and let's also do the last letter equals our text variable, Python. And we want to open the square brackets, and this time we'll do -1. Okay, and let's do print last letter, and we'll input our last letter variable here. Great. So let's just comment this out. Let's run it. First letter P and the last letter N. So it done exactly what we needed to do. So just to reiterate, the indexing starts at 0, which is here. So if we done 1, you can imagine that Y will be output. So let's have a look. Y, yeah. But of course this is called first letter, so we'll change it back to 1. Perfect. Great. So that would be string indexing. So moving on. Let's move on to the next, which will be string slicing. So string slicing allows you to extract a portion of a string by specifying a start and end index. You can use the colon operator within the square brackets to perform slicing. Let's see an example. So let's create a new variable, text equals Python is fun. Sliced text, so we need to create a variable here called slice text. To confirm, these variable names, just because it says first letter as a variable name, it doesn't matter. It could be called absolutely anything. It's just it's good practice to make your variable names as concise as possible for your own readability, at least. Anyway, so slice text will equals our text variable here, square brackets, but this time we're going to do 0, colon, and 6. We will print slice text. Actually, we'll make it a bit prettier, of course. Sliced text, and comma, and we'll put in our variable here, slice text. So let's see what that outputs. I'm just going to get rid of these, comment them out at least. We'll run that. Slice text Python. So you can see here, if we just print text, we get Python is fun. But our slice text, because we've done a index of 0 to index of 6, we just get Python. So the index here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is the slice text. We move on to string methods. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that and comment this out for now. String methods. So Python provides several built-in methods for working with strings, such as changing the case, finding substrings, and splitting or joining strings. Let's have a look at some examples. So we'll create a variable here, text equals Python is fun. Okay, and now we'll create a variable here, uppercase text equals text dot upper. Okay, so now we print uppercase text. and comma, and our variable here. So you can see when we did this dot, you can see that this is a method because we use dot notation. So these are all methods. Because text is a string here, Python knows that. So when you do text, the variable name, dot, you can see that there's different functions. And in this case, we're using the upper function. Okay, so let's do a few more examples. Lowercase text equals text. And I'm sure you can guess what we're going to put here, but we do the dot and we should find lower. There it is, lower. And we will print this. And we will put our variable name here. Our next function that we're going to use is text.find. So first we need a variable here, and we'll call it find index. Text.find. And we want to look for, so this function takes an argument, and we must provide it a string. And in this case, we are going to find fun. And we'll print and we will print index of fun. I forgot the code. Okay. Okay, and we will do find index, because find index will hold the value that we're looking for. Okay. Split text. Okay. Split text. Text.split. And we'll put in here an empty space. So don't forget to put the empty space between your quotes. And we will print text. And once we print it out, we'll discuss what that actually does. And finally, we will do join text equals quotes, and let's put a dash here, and we will do dot join split text. Okay, and let's print that. Great. So let's run it and see what we get. Okay, great. So the first one we made, first variable made was uppercase text, and we assigned it the value of text with a function to run on that text called .upper. And here we have the output of Python is fun in uppercase letters. Exactly the same thing here with Python is fun in lowercase letters, because P was a capital, but there it's not. Index of fun. So here it's telling us that the index of fun is 10. So let's have a look. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Great. So it tells us what the index value of fun is. Split text. So we see here we have these square brackets and it's been separated into a list. We will be learning about lists in a later lecture, but just understand that this has created a list and separated the words into individual items of a list. And here we have Python is fun, and what we did is we assigned this dash here, and we've done dot join split text. So it saw the spaces in this string and it's joined them up, but using the symbol that we decide. Yeah, so we have looked at string manipulation as a whole, and a part of that is string concatenation, where we join strings together, string repetition, where we printed well, we assigned the value of word and we repeated it 3 times. We've done string indexing when we understand that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. Each letter has its own index number. We've done string slicing where we can actually put the index numbers in and take everything in between. String methods, so now we know that when a variable holds a value of a particular type, we can access these methods that are built into Python to help make things a bit easier for us and achieve what we want to do with the text. So yeah, that's it for this lecture on string manipulation in Python. In the next video, we'll dive into control structures such as conditional statements and loops to add more functionality to our programs. Keep practicing and I'll see you in the next lesson.